On this episode of the Hanford Insider, we hear about the Charm House venue with Kristen Smith. Rob will give you a look at some of this week's community events, and I'll be back with your sports report. This is the Hanford Insider for Monday, May 11th.
Welcome to the Hanford Insider, where community meets conversation. We spotlight the people, events, and ideas moving Hanford forward, sharing the positive stories that define our community, one story at a time. I'm your host, Rob Bentley. So let's get started. In community news this week, the first Thursday night marketplace last week was huge. The fun continues this week with Mom's Night Out, a celebration of moms. Music will be provided by the Classic All-Stars. At the City Council meeting last week, several citizens stepped up to the mic to express their concerns with electric bike and scooter riders not following the law and riding dangerously. Chief Huddleston says that officers are continuing to enforce and make the stops, but quite honestly, they're not getting a lot of cooperation from the majority of parents. The City Council recently adopted a new ordinance addressing operation of these vehicles. Some of the guidelines include requiring yielding to pedestrians. It prohibits bicycles and e-bikes and e-scooters and e-skateboards on sidewalks. It restricts use in parks, playgrounds, and school grounds unless designated. It also sets a 20-mile-an-hour limit on bicycle paths and trails. And it does allow temporary restrictions during special events. For those of you who know me, you may know that I lost my own brother to an accident on one of these types of bikes because he was hit by a car and suffered massive head injuries because he was not wearing a helmet. The other day, there was a student riding his electric scooter near my school on the sidewalk at a fast speed. He was weaving in and out of those walking on the sidewalk. He was wearing AirPods, and he was texting on his phone all at the same time. It's gotten to the point where I hate driving to school to deal with this, so I leave earlier so I can get there before they arrive. Please, people, please, 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 educate yourselves and your children to the dangers of these motorized scooters and bicycles. I don't want to read another headline about these types of accidents and deaths. You may have noticed this weekend that several churches have gotten a head start on the annual Serve Day, which will officially be held on Saturday, May 16th. Serve Day is a special opportunity for local churches to come together and demonstrate the love of Jesus throughout Kings County. They serve through practical acts of kindness, such as cleaning, painting, and beautifying areas in need of care. They also serve relationally, encouraging and celebrating people in parks, neighborhoods, and local organizations, simply because they're our neighbors, and they're deeply loved by God. If you'd like to join this effort on Saturday, call 559-582-1528. Now let's take a look at this week's community calendar. The Hanford High School Choir and Sign Language departments are presenting Seasons of Sound, a year in full color, on May 20th and May 21st in the Presentation Center beginning at 7 p.m. Tickets are available at gofan.co. The Kings Players production of I Shot Jennifer Lopez opens at the Temple Theater on May 22nd. For more information about the play and information about tickets, visit kingsplayers.org. The Children's Storybook Garden and Museum will be holding their annual Farm Day on Saturday, May 30th at 10 a.m. Visit storybookgarden.org for details. On Sunday, May 31st, the King's Symphony Orchestra will be holding their annual Pops concert in the Hanford Civic Auditorium Park beginning at 7 p.m. And finally, the Carnegie Car Show is coming up on June 6th in downtown Hanford. There'll be hundreds of cars on display, a special lowrider bike show in the Carnegie parking lot, a food truck alley in the Bastille parking lot, and a huge vendor fair in the Civic Auditorium Park. It's fun for the whole family. You can find out more about this free event and even register at carnegiecarshow.com. If you have an event coming up, large or small, and you'd like some help getting the word out, let's work together. Send your information to hanfordinsider@gmail.com. Be sure to subscribe to my weekly newsletter to get a complete calendar of events. It's the most comprehensive community calendar available. Today we're talking about the Charm House, an elegant event venue just outside of town that blends local history and modern celebrations. And joining me today is Kristen Smith, who's been instrumental in bringing this space to life. Welcome to the show, Kristen.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
So, Kristen, I know that you've been here in the Valley for a while, and I'm curious as to what brought you to Hanford and why you enjoy it here so much.
We grew up in Lemoore when we in our younger ages. My dad was a boat captain, so we always traveled where the ocean was. So we started off in Santa Cruz and Half Moon Bay area. We came over here because my grandma lived here and my dad worked in Morro Bay. And I just love the community. We moved around a lot. And so to have a place where you're planted and known and just enjoy everyone else is great for me. So that's how I started off.
So I know you enjoy being in business, but this isn't your first business venture, is it?
No, I started off with a clothing store back in the early 2000s, kept that and worked a full-time job at an insurance agency, but then finally went to just doing that. Eventually I sold it, and then I created a little candy store. And then I stopped doing that because it didn't make much money downtown, and then opened up The Works, which was next to the Star Cafe.
That was the old Artworks, yeah?
Yes, and that was a beautiful building. Eventually, the owner sold the building, so I looked at other places because I've always wanted to have a wedding venue. And when I drove by the Khan's home that was for sale, my sister-in-law says, "Why don't you look at that?" And I said, "That's, aiming big," but we did. We looked at it. My husband loved it, and so we made an offer and bought it.
And here we are.
Here we are.
So it's the height of prom season, weddings, Mother's Day, showers, and all the things going on. So, Kristen, what was your first impression of the property, and what was it that inspired you to launch this venue and turn it into something special?
So like a lot of people in the community, we always would drive by this house and think, gosh, I wonder what it looks like inside. It was always well-maintained, well-manicured. So when I was able to walk through here and look at it, there's nothing to compare with the landscaping and the love that was put into this home.
And of course, those big trees.
The big trees, the gardens, a lot of fruit, just little hidden gems throughout the property.
So you purchased the property along with the home, and what kinds of things did you have to do to turn this place into the venue that it's become? What were some of the big projects?
Some of the big projects were going out into that barn and taking down storage units. It was an actual barn that had feeders in it still. It had a lot of supply cabinets. It had basketball hoops in the back from the convoys playing all these years. So we didn't want to take away the charm of it. When we came up with the name, I kept thinking, well, what could we call it? And it kept going back to, this is such a charming place. So that's why we went with the Charm House. We didn't want anything Victorian. And as you look around, it's not any set style. We've got a little country, and we've got a little, we have teapots and Madonna goblets, but it's just a little variety in each room. So what sold me on it and the major projects were getting it up to code so we could have it as a venue with the county.
So what were some of the things that you wanted to preserve? I know the Christmas decorations were special to a lot of people as they would drive down Grangeville Boulevard during the holiday season.
Yes, I want to preserve the love that was put into this. Throughout the property, you'll see little plaques where they had a Kentucky Derby party. They had garden clubs here. Jenny Kahn made these little garden areas that was just beautiful. I know she used a lot of things to cook, which I'm not good at. So we switched it over to flowers, but just to keep, a lot of memories are here for a lot of people throughout the community.
So looking around, you have the house, the garden, the swimming pool, the barn. How are these spaces utilized?
So when you come, we always ask that you come tour it before you decide. We do showers out in the garden area. We do them in the backyard, in the lawn area, and we also do them in the barn. A lot of people have their mindset on something, but once they tour it, they often change just because outside it's beautiful, but inside it's contained. It's got fans. You've got a built-in bar area that you can set everything up the day prior, so your day goes a little smoother and a less stressful.
I know you've had some pretty special moments here since you've opened, and I'm sure you've had dozens of them, actually.
Yeah.
I know you said that working with the Kahn family was a highlight in itself.
Actually, when I met Jan Kahn out in the back, he was such a nice person and opened up his property to us. Just the feel I felt, the love that I thought, at this home a lot of people could enjoy it within the community in so many different ways. And it was close to town. It was easy for people to reach. It was safe for me to be at alone. And it was just beautiful. I couldn't find anything better, I would think.
And what do you feel sets it apart from other venues?
I think what sets it apart is we have a lot of inventory. We've got a lot of goblets. We have over 250 Madonna goblets from San Luis that we slowly started buying and we rent out. We have a lot of home furnishings that we can include and offer. We really take pride in making it a unique event. We've had multiple showers and multiple weddings, and none of them are exactly the same.
So then, what would you say about the meaning of having this beautiful venue right here in our own backyard? I've been to a lot of weddings in Sanger, Reedley, up there in the foothills. What makes it so special to have this venue right here in town?
I think it's nice because a lot of people that can't travel far can come here. A lot of people that have always wanted to be in the house or look at the property are able to. And we kind of do different price points. So it's not a set in stone thing. If you want to have a small little party for a daughter or a tea or something, we're able to be flexible and work within your budget and make something happen.
So I know from following you on social media that you've formed some great relationships with local vendors. And I imagine that's a huge benefit for the vendors and you, knowing what to expect. So can you tell us a little bit about the partnerships you've been able to develop with photographers, caterers, DJs, and that kind of stuff?
So I've known a lot of people throughout the community that have offered these services. So it's very nice to pair up with people that you know, people that you trust, people that will promote you just as much as you promote them. That's what we tend to do around here. We are open to anyone coming in, but locally, we like to support local. We know how it is to be a small business. We appreciate when people recommend us. So we really try to partner up and do that locally.
So what are those social media sites?
So we do have a website, thecharmhousevenue.com. You can find out information about pricing, about what is included. It also tells you a little bit about myself and what we have done before. Our social media is the Charm House Venue on Facebook and Instagram, and it will show you a lot of events that have happened, and we'll show you the variety of different things that we have to offer here.
So what's next for the Charm House then?
Actually, I just like to keep it going. I mean, it's finally to the point where it's almost paying for itself. And I like that right now we have 89 events on the books.
89.
So we're already out, October, we don't have one weekend without a wedding. Up until then, we have different things ranging from pool parties to bridal showers to graduation parties. So we just are very diversified so we can keep busy.
So I was driving by the other day and I noticed you're surrounded by farmland. And I'm curious, what are your relationships with the local farmers? I know we're getting ready for planting season, harvesting season. How does that work?
Well, I'm married to a farmer, so I know what the season is. I know, like looking today, they were knocking down borders, so I know that something's going to be happening probably this weekend when we're having the prom. But just knowing that that's what keeps our community going, the majority is farming. So, hey, if you love Hanford, farming's part of it.
So I see you not only rent out the venue, but you also put on some special events yourself.
Yes, we have a new one coming up for first time. It's called a summer social. The first one that we're offering is for just women over 21. We are going to have activities and local vendors. We'll have hat makers. We'll have a food truck. You, of course, you could swim. We have a local DJ. So we're just going to socialize, and just get together and enjoy the grounds and try it with all women. We think we're going to do one in the future of young teen girls and promote stuff like that, but we haven't reached out and made a schedule yet of that.
I'd imagine the fuel that you get to keep going at this is to see the smiles on people's faces and enjoying themselves.
It is. I love that. I love just coming here and letting people enjoy it and seeing the smile on their faces. I love that we can use the grounds and people can enjoy little hidden areas of the property. There's a tree swing back there. And just the fulfillment of everyone feeling the way I do about it makes me happy.
Kristen, it's so awesome being here today and looking around this historic home and the beautiful grounds. I know people are really enjoying this place. So can you give us those websites and social media channels again so people can check it out for themselves online?
Sure. My phone number is listed on the websites as well as social media. It's area code 559-410-2044. And the website is thecharmhousevenue.com. And that is what we are on Instagram as well as Facebook. You can send me a text, give me a call, or reach out to us through our website, and I will call you back.
Well, thanks, Kristen, for joining us, and we wish you the best of luck.
Thank you for having me.
And now it's time for Hanford Insider Sports with Eric Bentley.
It's hard to believe, but the spring season is all but over with baseball and softball playoffs starting Friday. So let's see where our teams stand. In baseball, Sierra Pacific had to settle for second place in the Tri-County Kings League after splitting their 2 games with Kerman last week. Tuesday's game saw a stellar one-hit outing from Caleb Coolwine, backed up by steady offense as the Golden Bears got the 8-1 victory on their home turf. On Thursday, the Lions flipped the script, striking for 11 runs and taking down the Golden Bears 11-1. Sierra Pacific finishes the regular season with an 18-9 overall record, second place in league, and with playoffs on the horizon, the Golden Bears are looking at a mid to high seed in Division II, likely around a 5 or a 6. The Hanford High baseball team went 1-1 in their 2 games last week, beating Tulare Western, but falling to Mission Oak to sit at 9-5 in the WYL with 1 game to play. Wednesday's game versus the league-leading Mustangs was a defensive battle that required extra innings, but saw the Bullpups walk it off in the 8th to seal the 2-1 win. Pitchers Hayden Keeney and Cole Liskanek highlighted the victory as the starter Keeney hurled 7 innings, striking out 6, allowing the only run, though it was unearned, with Liskanek striking out the side in the 8th. On Friday, it was Mission Oak taking the rubber match of the season from the Bullpups in heartbreaking fashion as Hanford High held a 2-1 lead heading into the final inning before the Hawks plated 2 for the comeback win. At 12-14 overall on the year and 9-5 in league play, the Bullpups will take the field one more time in the regular season on Tuesday versus Lemoore. Right now, Hanford High is projected as a low seed in Division II. Not only could a victory on Tuesday help that cause, it would also draw the Bullpups into a second-place tie with the Tigers in the WYL. And the Hanford West baseball team saw their season come to a close last week, falling in both games to Emmanuel. After getting out to a 9-8 overall start, the Huskies dropped their final 9 games of the year to finish 9-17 with a 3-9 mark in Tri-County Sequoia League play. Out to softball now, where the Hanford West softball team wrapped up their regular season with a pair of high-scoring victories to finish 14-13 overall. Tuesday's league finale saw Rylan Montoya do a little of everything as the junior tossed all 7 in the circle while going 2 for 4 with 4 RBI at the plate in the Huskies' 12-8 win. Friday's regular season finale was another offensive outburst headlined by a 3-hit 3 RBI day by freshman Erica Hernandez in the 14-2 run rule victory over Sierra Pacific. The Huskies currently sit in a tie for third with Selma in league, but a Kerman loss on Tuesday could create a finishing three-way tie for second in league. Regardless of the league standings, however, the Huskies' resume has done enough to see playoff action, likely a middle seed in Division III. The Sierra Pacific softball team, aside from the aforementioned loss to Hanford West, played in a wild league finale last week with first-place Reedley that saw the Golden Bears emerge victorious 21-16. As you would expect in a game like that, the box score was wild, but senior Anaya Zaragoza had an afternoon to remember, getting the start in the circle throwing 5 innings, giving up 4 earned runs on 6 hits, while at the plate finishing a single sigh of the cycle with 2 doubles, a triple, and a home run with 7 runs batted in. That victory secured a 6-2 league finish for the Golden Bears, good enough for second place and playoff action, as Sierra Pacific will more than likely find themselves in the middle of the Division IV bracket. And the Hanford High softball team is picking up some steam as the season comes to a close. Unfortunately for the Bullpups, it might be too little too late, even after last week's pair of victories. Wednesday's win at Tulare Western saw the Bullpups jump out early and never look back en route to the 17-6 run rule victory, while Friday's home game versus Mission Oak was a different story, as Hanford High had to come from behind with a 3-run sixth to take the 5-4 victory. Even with one game remaining on the schedule at Lemoore on Tuesday, with a 9-16 overall record, 4-5 in league play, that resume is not likely good enough to see postseason action, as the Bullpups are not currently in any playoff projections. We'll have a special edition sports report later this week once brackets are released, with official playoff seeding and matchup previews. But before we go, some coaching news. Congratulations to Hanford High football coach Cannon Sanchez for being one of 25 coaches selected to participate in the Tampa Bay Buccaneers National Coaching Academy. This week-long program in Tampa offers an opportunity to not only create NFL pathways into coaching, but also brings valuable skills back to help our athletes here in Hanford. Also, the Hanford West girls basketball team has found their new head coach. Dave Furtado will be taking over the helm after spending the last 2 seasons as the Pioneer girls basketball coach. Coach Furtado has also led the SenCal Titans girls basketball program since 2022 and has been an NJB All-Star coach the last 4 years. As always, if you have a score report or a team update for any team in any sport at any level, you can let us know by emailing hanfordinsider@gmail.com. I'm Eric Bentley, and this has been your Hanford Insider Sports Report.
And that wraps things up for this week's show. Stopping by the show next week is Kings County Registrar of Voters, Lupe Villa. He'll fill us in on all of the preparations going into the June 4th primary election, now that the ballots have arrived in your mailboxes. If you're enjoying this podcast and you want to support it, you can head over to buymeacoffee.com/Hanford Insider to make a donation, or you can Venmo me directly. To stay connected, join the Hanford Insider email list at hanfordinsider.com. You'll get weekly updates, plus an exclusive newsletter delivered right to your inbox each Wednesday. I also really appreciate your help spreading the word about the show by liking and sharing on social media, or like most people, just telling a friend. You can follow the show on Facebook, Instagram, Threads, X, and YouTube at Hanford Insider for more content and updates. And if you've got a show idea, send me an email at hanfordinsider@gmail.com. I'd love to hear from you. Thanks for listening to this episode of the Hanford Insider Podcast. Have a great week.